Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna go over 10 purchases under $200 that have saved me not only a bunch of time, but also money. So coming in at number 10 is this physical alarm clock. It's actually a sunrise alarm clock by Philips. And what it actually does is that it mimics the natural daylight that occurs whenever you're about to wake up. That way, instead of waking up to a jarring iPhone alarm, we actually wake up to a nice soothing natural daylight that occurs with this lamp. I was someone that personally hated sleeping next to my phone, especially at night, because what I actually found I was doing was I would just scroll social media for hours on end, and I would actually end up not sleeping until maybe an hour or two after I intended to. Also, in doing some research for this video, I actually realized that by scrolling in the morning or even late at night can actually mess with your brainwaves whenever it's about to shut down or even wake up in the morning. According to the neuroscientist Jay Rye, it actually means that you're more primed for distraction throughout the rest of the day whenever you wake up and you check your phone immediately, as well as you can trigger stress responses throughout the rest of the day as well. Now, the best part about the sunrise alarm clock is that it's proven to regulate your circadian rhythm, as well as the fact that I just feel really rested whenever I use it to wake up. So it's really interesting. If you set your wake up time to say 7 a.m., the light starts turning on right around 20 minutes before 7 a.m., so around 6:40, and it gradually gets brighter and brighter until it's time to wake up at 7. Not to mention, it also comes with a more soothing alarm sound whenever you need to wake up, as well as the fact that you can also add bird sounds to that as well. Personally, I love it. I can't imagine a life without it, and I notice whenever I do travel and I have to use my iPhone alarm, my quality of sleep is just not that good. These aren't the cheapest thing out there. I think this one was about $110. However, I think because of the quality sleep that you do get, it's definitely worth it because you're gonna get more productivity throughout your day, which hopefully equals more money. All right, coming in at number 9 is one of my favorite items as well. It's a locking cookie jar. So it actually has a timer on the top of it. And what that means is that you put any item in here and then you set the time that you want it to be locked for. And essentially what it means is that you can't get access to whatever is in here whenever you lock it. I first heard about this locking cookie jar on the Tim Ferriss podcast, and I had to get one because whenever I start working, what I do is I put my phones in this locking cookie jar. I lock it for about 2 or 3 hours, and then that way it's completely out of touch. What I mean is that whenever I would put my phone in a different room to start working, I actually found myself more tempted to go check my phone because I knew that it was just in another room and that wasn't enough of a distraction for me. But with this locking cookie jar, I know that I cannot get into it no matter what for the set amount of time. So it's like a big mental barrier and a big mental shift for me. And that way I don't feel tempted at all to check my phone whenever I'm doing some work. Of course, you could also put cookies or different types of treats in there, like Biscoff cookies or whatever you like. However, I personally just put my phones in there or any distractions, and that way I get more work done. These things are plastic, yes, and even though it looks like it's really cheap, they're like $59, but still, I think it's worth it for the innovation. So yeah, locking cookie jar. Coming in at number 8 is a digital analog timer. This actually is the one that I use that sits on my desk. And what it actually does is that it counts upwards instead of downwards. What I mean by that is that it basically counts how long you've been doing something, which is actually a genius productivity hack. So back in the day when I first got into productivity, I used the Pomodoro technique, which was a block of 30 minutes where you would do 25 minutes of work and then you would take a 5-minute break, and then that cycle would repeat. But what I actually found was that in the middle of a good Pomodoro session, I might have hit the 25-minute limit, but I was really in the zone. And so by having that forced 5-minute break every Pomodoro, I actually was cutting my own work time short. And what I essentially was realizing was that if I ever got into the flow state, I wanted to stay in it as long as I could. So I actually did hear about this productivity hack in particular from Alex Hormozy, which was to get a kitchen timer that counts upwards. That way, every time I work, I basically start the kitchen timer at 0 and I see how high I can get it to without getting distracted. This incentivizes me to work for as long as possible, especially if I get in the zone. And my current high score or my record time is 78 minutes, and I want to see if I can get it to maybe 80 or 82 minutes the next time I do work. I personally think it's a better way of gamifying productivity, and I also put this, you'll notice that I put this duct tape right here on the kitchen timer because I really didn't like the logo that it came with. And I guess this is just my way of like paying homage to Casey Neistat, who likes to modify a lot of his basic goods with, you know, duct tape or markers or stuff like that. So highly recommend this thing. It was only about $8 on Amazon. I'll link it down below, but it's really saved me a lot of time and really made me more productive overall. All right, coming in at number 7 is this mini tripod. I know that it is quite a shock to you guys, but this is the Manfrotto mini tripod. I believe it was $33 or something like that. But essentially what that means is that I can bust out a TikTok or a short video whenever I need to. Since it's so small, it fits in my back pocket. I can take it with me whenever I do a film shoot just to also grab some vertical footage as well. And it also fits into a backpack really neatly and easily. This is one of my favorite things that I carry around in my backpack, which we'll talk about my backpack at the end of this video, but it saved me countless of times. And plus it's also really good in case someone asks you for a great selfie or a nice photo, you can just bust it on the table. Boom. Now let's actually talk about something that saves me a lot of money, which is coming in at number 6, my Mr. Coffee machine. So hold on, be right back. Here we go. All right, so this is my Mr. Coffee machine. I brought it from the kitchen. I probably didn't need to, but I definitely was just really excited to show you guys this. So I personally swear by this thing because every time I make coffee, it is one of the best things ever. I really like burnt drip coffee. So whenever I do make coffee at home, I will use my Mr. Coffee machine, and I actually calculated that every cup of coffee that I make in this thing is around 29 cents. Hopefully we're gonna put some great shots of this coffee maker in action. I really like to add a little bit of 2% whenever I have my coffee, and it saved me a bunch of money countless of times. I've owned it for over 6 or 7 years now, and I believe when I bought it, it was $99, but these days I think it has grown in price to around $110. All right, if you guys are liking this video already, make sure to subscribe to my free newsletter called Hump Days because it's as good as a burnt coffee from my Mr. Coffee. That's a newsletter, by the way, where we come out with free business news twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays. So if you like what content we put out on the channel, you'll probably also like our newsletter, so sign up down below. All right, coming in at number 5 is this Sketchpad. I actually bought it at a Japanese bookstore for $6, and it is made in Japan. And what I really like about this is that, number 1, it's a cheaper version of a journal or a notepad, but also the paper is just super nice and textured, which I really enjoy. Each sheet not only tears out super well, like I actually have a sheet on top of my camera right here, but it's also really nice because I use it as a notepad whenever I'm taking down notes for doing work, or maybe I'm, calling someone and I'm jotting down some notes about our conversation. I'll use this Sketchpad instead of a normal notepad, and I just have a really good time with this. And I also like just the cover, the aesthetics. It looks good. Another great thing is that it fits in my backpack really easily. It's not as big as one of those bigger journals that you guys might have out there. So I really like the compactness. I like everything about it. It sits on my desk. All right, coming in at number 4 is something that saves me a lot of money, or actually pays me a lot of money, which is a rewards credit card. Now, this credit card in particular is the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which has a really expensive annual fee, which we're not going to talk about in this video today. However, with a lot of these annual fees with these reward credit cards, you often make up that fee in difference whenever you do make your everyday spending. Oftentimes, if you spend in certain categories in the right ways, you can actually make up for the annual fee for some of these pricier cards, especially the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or something like the American Express Gold Card. But since we're keeping things under $200 in today's video, let's actually talk about a rewards credit card that has no annual fee, which is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. With this card, you actually get paid to use it because if you're a new user and you sign up, you can actually get $200 of a bonus just for spending $500 within the first 3 months. So it's actually pretty good if you're already doing your everyday, normal spending, and that's going to add up to $500 over 3 months. Not only that, you also get a bunch of cash back on different types of categories, such as 3% back on dining and 1.5% cash back on everything else. There's also a special offer right now on that card, which is they're actually giving you an unlimited matched cash back. So essentially what that means is that they'll actually automatically match all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year. Now, I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but a lot of these rewards credit cards will have special promotions just to try to get new signups. So what you want to do is you want to try to take advantage of those whenever you can, as long as you're being responsible with your credit card. I really want to reiterate that if you are going to go for a rewards credit card, to always use a credit card responsibly, try to pay it off in full at the end of every cycle, and that way you are actually benefiting from the credit cards instead of them benefiting from you. All right, coming in at number 3 is my trusty Yeti water bottle. This water bottle was actually quite expensive. However, it's a one-time purchase and it's been through a lot with me. This one in particular is 40 ounces, and I like that I can hold 40 ounces in my hand versus the fact that I've actually tried to buy a 64 ounce or a 128 ounce water bottle before, and those were just incredibly difficult to drink out of. I think having a reusable water bottle like this is really good, especially if you're traveling. That way you're not buying water at the airport every time you go, or the fact that you can save money on just not having to buy plastic water bottles all the time. So this is one of my favorite purchases. I think it was around $50 for this water bottle, which is not cheap by any means. However, you can just buy a knockoff one as long as it's double wall insulated. As long as it's double wall insulated, that means that it actually holds drinks cold for a certain period of time. usually over 8 to 12 hours. Coming in at number 2 is my Peak Design Everyday Backpack. This is a 20-liter size version, I believe, and it costs $280, which I know is over the price of the title of this video. So what I'm gonna do actually is link the cheaper one down in the description below. It's just the zippered version. Instead of this one has a metallic flap right here, as you can see. But this metallic flap thingy, it's not really that necessary. It's not why I like the backpack. The main reason I like this backpack is that it has 2 different sides you can open it from the sides. So if you look at this here, you can open it from this side and get access to 3 different compartments. And you can do this on this side, but you can also just do that over here. So that's what I really like about it. No matter what side it's kind of sitting on, you can always get access to whatever's in your backpack, and I really like that. The other thing I really like about this backpack is that it has a luggage pass-through. So basically what that means is you can see that the luggage is being held through a pass-through right here. And so what that means is that I can put it on my rollaway luggage or my carry-on luggage and just kind of go through the airport like that. In the past, I just had a backpack where I threw everything in it, and this actually helps me stay a little bit more organized, which I really like. So that was a surprising feature of this bag, and this is not sponsored, but I really do like this bag. The one gripe I have about this backpack is that it does kind of look like a turtle shell. Like whenever you have it on, it's actually like quite wide this way, so it's really quite deep. And so whenever you do have it on, it kind of looks a little bit dorky sometimes. So that is my only gripe. I think while we're on the topic of travel, an honorable mention that I do want to talk about that you can buy for under $200, it's actually only $78, is TSA PreCheck, especially if you're in the United States. What TSA PreCheck allows you to do, if you're not familiar with it already, is that it allows you to go through a different security line at the airport, usually a much shorter line, and it's a lot more streamlined in that you don't have to take off your shoes, you don't have to take off your belt, and you can just leave your laptop in your bag and just go through security. It's $78 over 5 years, so that comes out to $16 per year, but honestly, it can save you a lot of stress, especially if you get to the airport a little bit late and you don't have that much time to get to your gate. Plus, I really like being efficient, so TSA PreCheck is the move. I actually do have Clear as a benefit of one of my American Expresses, and honestly, Clear is good, but TSA PreCheck is a really good sweet spot for time versus efficiency and also price. All right, guys, the number 1 purchase is finally here. It saved me a ton of money, and it actually just gives me a lot of enjoyment. It's a trick that I've learned from my friend Barrett, and it is right here. This is the number 1 purchase. It is a towel. Yes, it is a hand towel. And you might be wondering, Humphrey, why do you have a hand towel as your number 1 purchase today? This hand towel, my friend, actually replaces your paper towels. So if you just have a drawer of these, you can get these at Costco. You can get a big pack for $30, or any big box retailer has these little things. And they are the unsung heroes of the kitchen. Whenever you're eating something messy, you don't have to use a paper towel anymore. These can just go in the wash. And I find that I really enjoy these whenever I'm having, like, let's say a messy burger, and I can just clean off my face like that. So yeah, these will save you from having to buy paper towels, especially if you have guests. They're gonna be impressed that you have something like a handkerchief or a napkin. It's almost like a fine dining experience just at your home. All right, so this is my first ever video where I recommended products to you guys. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Let me know if you identified with any of the products and if you're gonna buy any of the products in today's video. I'd love to do more of these in the future, so if the comments are positive, I will do so. But if you don't want me to make one of these ever again, just please let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to my free newsletter called Hump Days, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.